The thing that I've wanted to record for a couple of weeks now. My family and I went on a big family vacation a few weeks ago, right at the start of summer vacation. Great trip. It's like a week and a half with like three other families, folks I've known for 30 plus years. Um, it has been a mainstay for me for a long time. Even through the divorce and everything, it was kind of a thing that I looked forward to, touched on, kept me grounded, kept me centered. Um, so anyway, been doing that now, and since we got remarried, all of that good stuff. But this particular trip, there was an interesting thing that occurred. we If you're familiar at all, if you have kids at all, or maybe if you just like games, there's a game called One Night a Werewolf, where the idea is you different different players play different characters, and each turn of the game you get dealt a different character. Sometimes your job is to pretend to be a werewolf. Sometimes you are a werewolf. Sometimes you're a villager who's trying to figure out who the werewolf is, or werewolves. So there's this aspect to the game of, if you're really good at deception, if you're really good at misleading people and lying about who your character is and stuff, you may sort of win the game because you fool people. It's an incredibly creative game, incredibly clever game. It pairs with an app on your phone, all the thing. I've always I've never really, the game hasn't ever really grabbed me, but this time I was getting into it, having fun. It was my whole family was playing, big group of us, kids, adults, everything, and the weirdest thing happened. Normally, things that trigger me from my divorce and from my past, I can see it. I can sort of see it from the outside, feel it coming, whatever. So what happened was, we're playing One Night a Werewolf, and my wife, who was like sort of teamed up with her sister, if I remember correctly, they were working together because they have that sort of psychic sister connection. They were working together to deceive everybody about their role in the game. And when it came out that they had been, lying about what their role in the game was, it messed me up badly. Like, psychologically, mentally, emotionally, just destabilized me. And I could see that I was being irrational about it. I could tell that my reaction and my response was not rational. But nonetheless, it just messed me up. It messed me up emotionally and spiritually and mentally, and it just completely destabilized me when I found out that my wife had, in the context of a game, had been very successfully, completely lying to me. That's the game, that's part of the game, and I realized it's a game, it's not real life, and it has nothing to do with real life. It's just, that's what you do in the game. And yet, it messed me up. Like, I really literally had to walk away, had to step away from the game and just figure myself out because it truly messed me up. And everyone could see it. Like, everyone could see it on my face. They could see it in my body language. They could see that I was offended, frightened, scared, hurt by the fact that my wife was really good at playing the game. And let me be very clear. I trust my wife deeply, implicitly. We talk about issues when there's an actual problem. Like, we are open, we're communicative, we trust each other. But clearly, It's no great leap of psychoanalysis to understand, like, the fact that I was lied to and cheated on by my first wife. Clearly, I have serious triggers with deception and misdirection and lying in any context, even in the context of a game, which is totally a thing on me. That's a thing for me to deal with. But I didn't know that it was there. I certainly didn't know that it was gonna freak me out the way it did. So I had to kind of, sit with myself a little bit and step away. And next time we played the game, like another night, like I couldn't play again that night. I was a mess. I was just wrecked emotionally over a game. But the next time we played, I played a few rounds, and it was like, okay, like I'm just not. It's just for some reason that game messes with me. It's not the way It just messes with me for some reason, for all kinds of reasons, I'm sure. But anyway, the fact that destabilized me, upset me so badly, led me to really realize, like, there are still, we're years, a couple of years down the road from my divorce, there are still things which trigger me, which destabilize me, which can mess with my head and my heart. And I just want to share with you guys that story so that you understand there will be things that you're going to be unpacking for a long time after your divorce. And that's part of it. That's just part of how the game shakes out. The game of real life, of marriage and life and parenting and all that. Like, when you have been lied to, when you have been deceived by the person you trust the most, the person you trust implicitly, you're gonna be dealing with the effects of that for a long time. I've been to therapy. I still do my work, and therapy was incredibly helpful for me to understand all of that and unpack all of that. And yet, there are still little landmines here and there that they will pop up and they will catch you by surprise. And then you have to backpedal and unpack it and figure it out before you can go forward again. So if you find yourself bumping up against those things, hell, if you're early in the process of separation, divorce, you're probably tripping over that sort of stuff all the time. But it can be years down the road, and things will either regularly or out of the blue trip you up. And that is entirely okay. And, the course there, the path forward there is, well, unpack that for yourself, but also with your significant other. If you have a new partner, which I am very lucky, very blessed to have. But I feel like there are certain things, there are certain parts of recovering from divorce, recovering from that kind of betrayal, that you can only figure out, that you can only unpack in a relationship with someone new. And hopefully that new person understands what you're going through and offers you grace and offers you perspective. But you have to offer yourself grace, and you have to also offer to your new partner an explanation and a deconstruction of what is happening and why. And maybe you don't understand it fully, but maybe you have to unpack that together. So my point there is, I guess, A, offer yourself grace. B, offer your partner as full an explanation as you possibly can. And C, be very honest and open with your partner, with your new partner, about what the hell is going on and why, if you understand it. And if you don't understand it, be honest about that too. So hang in there. keep going, and I wish you the best. More to come.